Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Believe in Bengal podcast. Solomon Wilcots and our Believe in Bengals insider, Charlie Goldsmith. Charlie, as a result of the Cincinnati Bengals getting a clean sweep of the Cleveland Browns week 16, they have now won 3 straight games and find themselves in playoff contention. When I say that, what comes to mind?
Well, the Bengals have something they haven't had all season, and that's momentum. And we can have all the caveats in the world of who they've been facing the last 3 weeks, but there's not much more you can say that we haven't been saying all season about Joe Burrow and JaMarr Chase in this passing game. And then while they've played some terrible quarterbacks and the Browns was the worst offense they've seen all season, it is a defense with young guys who can start to talk themselves into, we're turning the corner. We're making plays we weren't making a month ago. We're recognizing things. We're communicating. We're playing more instinctual. We're playing faster. And all of that carries a lot of weight and carries a tangible impact heading into a game on Saturday where we'll really see how real or not this surge has been.
Yeah, look, I there's no doubt in my mind. I am elated that the Bengals just have an opportunity with 2 games remaining to punch a ticket to get into the postseason. Still an uphill battle. You got to win it when their final 2 games to get in there. But this is really what Joe Burrow has promised the Cincinnati Bengals fans, that we're going to be doing this every single year, which is why he was so frustrated at the beginning of the year. It was below his expectations to not be contending for a playoff bid and a chance to go to a Super Bowl. And now that appears to at least be on the table. It's still rather remote, but yet there is a realistic picture. And I think you and I both know that's what NFL players want when they step on that field with 1 or 2 games left to go. They want this to be meaningful games, particularly if you are a 7-8-year veteran. You want those games to be meaningful. And so that's what Joe Burrow has screaming and kicking. He's dragged the rest of the organization up to the threshold of potentially being able to punch a playoff ticket. I got to ask you this. T. Higgins said yesterday in an interview that in regards to Joe Burrow buying a Batmobile and wearing a cape, he said, no, he's not Batman. He's Superman. To that, what comes to mind when you hear his teammates talk about their quarterback in that way?
No, I'm not up to date on my Superman knowledge.
Okay.
Is Superman indestructible? Because if he's not, we need someone who's indestructible. The pressure that Joe Burrow has been dealing with really since Orlando Brown first suffered that knee injury in week 8 against the Eagles. Yeah. Since then, the pressure's up by like 50%. There have been what I call 59 danger plays in the last 7 weeks, plays where they make you, oh man, Burrow's in danger. And Burrow just, I think he's converted like 15 of those 59 plays into big plays for the offense. There's no one they can rely on the offensive line with Amarius Mimms being limited right now with an ankle injury. And even still, they're producing plays like the flip to Drew Sample, the touchdown to T. Higgins yesterday. His ability to just make it work no matter who he has blocking in front of him. That is an indestructible quality that whether Superman has it, I guess Superman is susceptible to kryptonite. I don't know what Joe Burrow is susceptible to right now.
Yeah, I put it like this. There is no kryptonite that can weaken his game. All we need is someone to present a photo of him 1 inch off the ground, parallel in the prone position, like it just really parallel to the ground on that 2-yard touchdown pass to T. Higgins. It's a thing of beauty. I don't know how he got the ball off. I don't know how he even was able to keep his head up and deliver the pass. If someone can present that photo, all that's missing on that play, Charlie, is the cape.
So let's put a narrative to rest.
Yes.
Joe Burrow is known for being precise, accurate, aggressive.
Yeah.
We sleep on Joe Burrow's athleticism. Joe Burrow is an athlete. And there's these things you can't teach, this flair and this creativity to, like, I call it the Steph Curry style flair, knowing that I can create plays that other people haven't even thought of before. Josh Allen does it. Patrick Mahomes does it. We've spent a lot of time comparing Burrow to Peyton Manning. Tom Brady's a name that comes up as well, but they've built a Manning style offense to make Joe Burrow like that. Well, Burrow's not Manning yet, but Peyton Manning wasn't doing anything like this. And I think we have to rewire what our comparisons are for Burrow and give him more credit than he's getting for this quick or this really strength athleticism that he's showing consistently and that he has really leveled up at.
You haven't seen Tom Brady or Peyton Manning run, climb the pocket and leak into the secondary for a 50-yard touchdown run. You never saw that, right? Joe Burrow does that, and he will do that on his own, as you well know. If he sees a weakness in the defense, he'll just take off and run it. It's a pass play that's called in the huddle, but he'll just take it. If you don't have your linebackers or the defense situated appropriately, and he doesn't see your defense well guarded at the second and third level of the defense, he's going to make you pay. I've seen him do it a number of different times. And so, yes, his athleticism is underrated because Joe Burrow was a star as an AAU basketball player. He was a great baseball player growing up. He played on defense where his dad coached and where his older brothers played. You and I both know that. He had played in the secondary. So this is a guy that when they didn't have another guy, when he was playing youth football, they were looking around for another guy. It was like, Joe, come over here. And had him take a few snaps, and a quarterback was born. He didn't even buy into the quarterback role until much later because he loved playing defense. He loved that side of the ball where his dad coached. So fortunate for all of us, he took to the quarterback position rather well. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm
going to predict a storyline for next August in training camp. And that storyline is going to be Joe Burrow is preparing to run more in 2025. So like a play that comes to mind is they were playing the Chiefs. It was the red zone, and Burrow has the wide open grass in front of him. And instead he forces a ball to Trenton Irwin, who was kind of open in a one-on-one battle, but Irwin lost the battle. Irwin isn't an NFL player anymore. Burrow needs to recognize, I am going to get this first down or this touchdown in a Josh Allen style way. You look at how, Allen, how Jackson, how to an extent Jaden Daniels have just changed and kind of ruined the math for defenses when they have to account for those quarterbacks as runners. I think the Burrow's going to prepare to take advantage of that math more next season and put himself in position to do more as a true scrambler.
Given the fact that as we sit here today at the recording time of this show, Joe Burrow is leading the NFL in all quarterbacks in completions, passing yards, and touchdown passes. This is a guy that's on pace for a 4,000-yard passing season and 40 touchdown passes, which is absolutely phenomenal and is a franchise record. Are the Cincinnati Bengals would they be the scariest team should they make the field of 7 playoff teams in the AFC? I can't see that any of those 6 teams would be saying, yeah, I want to take on the Cincinnati Bengals. I can see them as one of the most feared teams.
Yeah, look at these teams. The Bengals haven't played the Bills, but Burrow had honestly an average game for him against the Chiefs, and they still had an offense that was humming very well, and it came down to a couple kind of fluky red zone moments being the only reasons the Bengals didn't score 30+. They scored 35+ against the Ravens and the Steelers. They should have beat the Chargers in a game where the offense was really, really humming. A couple missed kicks from having I think a 35+ performance in that one. So we've just seen it, the Bengals against all these teams. I have no doubt in my mind that this Bengals offense could go into this postseason with a lot of momentum and a lot of expectation of executing offensively. The defense is still what I don't know. And that's kind of the beauty of how this season wraps up. The quarterback play has been bad over the last few weeks for these opponents that they've been facing. Now, again, Jordan Battle more confident. Cam Taylor-Britt more confident. Geno Stone more confident. The young defensive linemen are starting to heat up. But while you're seeing positive development improvement, even that translates independent of the opposing team's quarterback play, you still need to learn what these guys are like in true moments of adversity against quarterbacks who can truly beat them.
I got to tell you, Cincinnati Bengals 3 takeaways in Sunday's game against the Cleveland Browns. They forced 3 turnovers in that game, which was critical. I would argue that Cincinnati Bengals would not have beaten the Cleveland Browns if the defense hadn't responded and played the way that they did. After giving up a 67-yard run on the very first play of the game to Jerome Ford, he gets it down to the 1-yard line. Good thing, I think it was Cam Taylor-Britt who made the touchdown-saving tackle. because that's where games are won. Because next thing you know, Von Bell's punching the ball out at the goal line, and the Cincinnati Bengals recover it, and Joe Burrow goes 99 yards the other way and turns it into a touchdown. In that moment, I don't know that I've ever felt wire to wire in any game all season long, right, that the Bengals were going to win this game. But it was at that moment that Joe Burrow turned it around and went 99 yards the other way with Myles Garrett and that defense on the field that I felt very good. And that is a culmination, I think, of that when the defense is ready to play, the complementary pieces for this team makes them a scary proposition, Charlie.
I mean, what it's all about is where are they going to get playmaking from? And while they were definitely making their fair share of, self-inflicted mistakes, you saw Cam Taylor-Britt kind of lose his playmaking element in October and November. You saw Geno Stone not bringing that to the table when this defense was struggling. You saw the Bengals having, I believe, the second worst pass rush in football. Well, now they're making plays, and sometimes it is that simple because teams are going to move the ball. It's the NFL. The Browns moved the ball their fair share yesterday. But Von Bell at the goal line, DJ Ivey tipping that pass to Geno Stone, Geno Stone's blitz on that pick to Jordan Battle, Cedric Johnson coming off the edge. Trey Hendrickson had a big sack. Jenkins did the same thing twice. You're seeing real Mike Hilton. We've gone too long without saying Mike Hilton's name. You're seeing real, genuine plays being made. And I believe that's how defense works in the NFL in the modern era. You're not going to stop these teams, but can you make 10 plays a game? And the Bengals are getting real plays over these last few weeks.
And they also have an offense that can capitalize on any plays made by the defense. All they need is a few, right? And then the ability to what they did to the Browns, they put them in what we call known passing situation. That's when you get sacks. That's where you get interceptions on the back end. And we saw those complementary pieces coming together for the Cincinnati Bengals in their win over the Cleveland Browns. Denver Broncos defense coming up next. Is it a hyperbole from when I say to you, Charlie, that this will be the best defense that the Cincinnati Bengals offense has faced all season long?
I love I have a soft spot for the Chiefs defense, but Denver has proven that they're right in that category. And obviously Nick Bonito, a defensive player of the year candidate, but how balanced that defensive line is too. This isn't a team where you're like last week, the plan was sell out to stop Myles Garrett. You're probably going to try to sell out to stop Bonito, but the rest of the Broncos line is way better than the rest of the Browns line. They have aggressive linebackers. They got Pat Surtain. This is a really good combination of stars and no weak links. And that's what makes them particularly a unique challenge to go up against. Probably when you look at where the line is now for the offensive line for the Bengals, the toughest challenge the Bengals have faced this season on defense, definitely.
They will, when the season's over, they'll have multiple players with double-digit sacks. I think they arguably have the best young corner in the game today in Patrick Surtain, who can match up with anyone, as you well know. I think the numbers don't lie. They lead the league with 51 sacks, top 10 in takeaways on the season, 18 in all through 15 games, fourth in scoring defense, only giving up 18 points per game. And they have the league's eighth ranked total defense. The Bengals have to go through Denver to get into the playoffs. We don't get any more mulligans, Charlie. This is the game, because right now the Denver Broncos hold that number 7 seed in the wild card race, right? In terms of the AFC playoff picture. You lose this game, playoff hopes are over, season's over. You win this game, I'm not saying you clinch it, but the pathway to the playoffs become much broader, become a much greater possibility.
Yeah, big game for Zach Taylor here too. When you look at the matchup between the limited or the shorthanded Bengals offense on the offensive line and shorthanded and then just struggling offensive line against this Browns defense, against this Broncos defense, you saw a bit of it early against the Browns where you saw the Bengals 12 personnel, move the pocket, play action, some interesting concepts there to get rid of the ball quickly to kind of run safe plays against the pass rush you knew was going to win. Zach Taylor's going to need to be even better at designing and putting those plays in the game plan this week against the Broncos, because as special as Burrow is, you're going to need to have some easy buttons it's going to be even more difficult when you're going up against the best corner in football coming up this week. So definitely a great test for Zach Taylor to show, can an offense that can beat anyone on any day, but does have a few holes that are starting to show up. Where can Zach set up that unit to really win that side of the ball?
One last thing before we let you go. Any insights onto what happened in Sunday's game with Amarius Mimms, his offensive line coach, Frank Pollack, even Zach Taylor had to come over, talk to Amarius Mimms, and then they take him out of the game. Any idea of what transpired?
I don't. My big takeaway from kind of, the watching the moment, kind of just like we all did without having that inside information, is Amarius Mimms isn't carrying himself like a rookie. And there's some good and some bad with that, but Amarius is carrying himself like a guy who knows that he's the one carrying this line with Orlando Brown out right now. And, the NFL's meritocracy. You perform well, you have a little extra juice in these kinds of conversations. And I think what you saw from Amarius wasn't kind of the quiet fading into the background on purpose. I'm going to watch and see what I can learn. That was who Amarius was in September and October. This is a different Amarius you're seeing now as he gains more confidence, the more and the better he plays.
He is a talented player. And I got good news. Orlando Brown's going to be back soon. He's going to be back with us. So I think when we have him and Mimms lined up at the bookend tackles, I don't think anybody's better at the offensive tackle position. I love when we can have those guys healthy. If we can have them against the Denver Broncos, Charlie,
changes everything.
It changes everything. We could be going to the playoffs. We're going to be doing a playoff dance when it's all said and done. Hey, we want to thank you for joining us. You're always bringing great information. All the best to you. Merry Christmas to you and your family, Charlie.
Same to you. Merry Christmas.